Literal approach versus the purposive approach. Cheeseman's case highlights many issues surrounding statutory interpretation. It's an instance where the courts take the terms quite literally. It can be argued, though, that the convict was deliberately and indecently revealing his person in the street and was caught doing so. Is it significant whether the police were passengers? They were there because of previous complaints about this sort of behavior, and the accused presumably figured they were normal members of the general public. Some people might argue that the whole intent of the act was to avoid such behavior. This is the purposive approach to statutory interpretation. Rather than looking at the exact meaning of each term, a wider approach is being taken. One of the major issues in statutory interpretation is the clash between the literal approach and the purposive approach. Should judges consider each word and take the words literally, or should it be understood that every case cannot be addressed by an act of parliament and that the meaning of a word cannot be accurate always? The purposive approach is followed in European law. The Treaty of Rome lays out basic rules but without specific details. As Lord Denning had said in the Treaty of Bulmer Ltd v Bollinger SA, 1974. This particular rule lays out general principles. It reflects its thoughts and aims, all in moderate-length sentences and commendable style. However, it lacks precision. This uses terms and phrases and does not define what they mean. An English lawyer would find an interpretation clause, but he would look in despair. There is none of that. There are discrepancies and lacunas all throughout the treaty. The judges have to fill in those. Moreover, since European treaties, laws, and directives are provided in multiple languages, it would be challenging, if not impossible, to take the meanings of words literally. Exact translation from one language to another isn't always possible. In English law, the judges were unable to decide on which approach must be used, but instead established 3 different rules of interpretation over the years. These are the literal rule, the golden rule, the mischief rule. These rules take various interpretation approaches, and some judges tend to use one rule, while other judges prefer a different rule. This means that the meaning of a statute in English law can differ depending on which judge hears the case. Nevertheless, once an interpretation has already been set down, it may then form a precedent for future cases under the normal rules of the judicial precedent. Because the 3 rules can lead to various decisions, it's imperative to understand those decisions.